Well, hi, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And I'm here tonight to tell you this is my must-have stitch books for 2022. Yes, I'm already trying to get you excited for 2022 because I'm excited about the different things that I hope to bring and share with you for next year. And so one of the first things I want to do is just to get, bring you some new ideas, lay some different ideas. Well, first of all, before we even get into the book review, let me just say this. All right, I have a little saying. If you get into knitting, knitting will get into you. So for me, knitting is like what we have now is like, I call it three tiers, the three tier. All right, you have the upper tier where you have the really big name knitwear designers. You have the people who write the books and the beautiful patterns and just all kind of beautiful designs on Ravelry and a lot of things like that. And then, of course, you have Stephen West. Now, he's up on that top tier. He's in a category all by himself. I'm telling you, I think he should leave his brain to science. And the reason I say that is because even at a simple level on the things that I design, you have to have a mind to see things. You have an idea of what you want, but you have to be able to see things to bring them to light. And the things he brings to life is just over and above anything I could ever imagine. So he's just up there all by himself. And he's cute too. Now, the middle tier, this is where I consider myself. This is where I feel like my gifts shine. My gifts are more for the person who has, knitting, and maybe you've had, some things that go on in your life that you had to drop it for a while, and now you're coming back, or you just want to improve your skills, or you just want to do some things that are new and different than maybe from what you learned when you were younger, or you just want to have things more, more relevant to your lifestyle than maybe some of the things you see in the upper tier. Like I say, a lot of things, but it's just things I probably wouldn't knit or wear or something. So I'm very comfortable here in I call it the middle tier. Does that make sense? We want to grow, we want to learn, we want to expand, but we want to do it at our own pace, and we like where we are. We just like we like things just nice and easy. Then you have the intro tier. Now this tier, I think I call it where people are. They really haven't settled into knitting yet, per se. They have a lot of other things they like to do. Some people like to quilt and knit. Some people like to crochet and cross stitch. Some people like to sew and knit or crochet. So they have a lot of things on their plate that they can choose from at any time, depending on whatever season they're in, whatever they're feeling, or whatever's going on in their lives. They can kind of pick and choose. Okay, right now I just don't feel like knitting, my arms hurting or whatever, so I'm going to just do my quilting. So they can pick, but when they are ready and they decide they want to get in or to enhance or, improve their knitting skills, then they're ready to move up to the middle tier, which is, like I said, where I feel I can share better what little I know and what I'm trying to learn and what I'm trying to encourage others to do. Does that make sense? Now, I said all that because for 2022, I want to bring you something, show you how to take some things and just, this word I want you to remember for 2022, we're going to modify. We're going to modify patterns and stitches. We're going to I'm going to show you how to modify even and use stitch books. Books that I didn't even think I could use. I bought them. And then when I got them home, I was like so disappointed because they were like, oh man, I don't feel like knitting all that. I just wanted something cute. I just wanted this or that. And I would put the book away or pattern or whatever. Fast forward on down the road, you know, I'm always looking for something, and I come across things that I have forgotten. And I have forgotten. I had this book and had forgotten it. And then I looked at it again. Still didn't really quite get it. And then, all of a sudden, a light bulb moment went off. And that's what I want to tell you about tonight. This is one of my must-have books for 22. So, get your little pen and paper if you need to so that you can write a few little things down or make sure you get the name right. And I will be right back so that we can get into this book. All right, back in just a minute. Okay, so now, just a little FYI information. Well, Jay, before you got into knitting groups and going to knitting shops, or how did you get into knitting yourself? How did you kind of get yourself going? Well, back in the day, when I'd go over to Joann's, and it could have been other places too, they had DVDs. How many of you remember these DVDs? Yes, I still have them. I hadn't played them in a long time, but they've been in the little case. I'm sure these were by, I don't know, Leisure Art or some company. Yeah, Leisure Art. And they had some cute little knit fashions they were called Knit Fashions in Motion, featuring stitch-alongs instructions, close-up detail, 6 amazing projects. And then you put the DVD, and then it has a little book with the each project, the written instructions right there, and then it had a DVD. Does that make sense? Anybody else have these? Do anybody else remember these? You're probably the only one that still have them. So over time, I would just buy these and just kind of put them in I couldn't wait to get home and put them in my television. Back then, I had a big box television, not the flat screens like we have now. So we're talking early 2000s. That's about when. I'm sure it was early 2000. So here's another one. This had pretty like dishcloths or all kind of lace stitches and things. And there were projects. I can't remember how many in here, but there was a lot of projects in here. And they take you stitch by stitch. You just put the DVD in. Let's see. See how nice and neat. I still have them after all these years. And so that brings me to this one, who we're going to talk about tonight. I have not reviewed any of her books only because I just haven't been able to get to them. We had so many things. But Melissa Leekman, she is a knitting icon. I'm sure she's on Ravelry. Everybody knows her name, Now listen, I'm not sponsored. I don't know her or nothing, I'm just showing you how I got myself to knit more. Because I was, after a while you get tired of dishcloths or that never-ending scarf, just long. And this DVD says for beginners. I can't believe I'm knitting. And it's in motion. And it's a Leisure Art book. And it says, Learn to Knit with Melissa Leekman. That's how I got myself to just step out and just say, look, all right, I want to improve. I want to learn. I want to increase raise my talent, my skill. All right, so here's the DVD. I'd put it on, and then here's the written instructions in this little booklet here. And then there was a purse, and there was a baby hat. There was a scarf. There was a whole bunch of stuff in here. I had some others, but I may have given some away. Sometimes I would do that and then I'd regret it. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you give it away? Even though I haven't played these since the early 2000s. But I just wanted you to see how I just stepped out, helped myself to step out and to learn to knit. So, like I said, I have some more of her books. I just haven't done a book review on all of the books I have of hers. But tonight is the book we're going to look at, which is this one. So I'm going to lay these aside. Make sure I'm in the camera, that I got it good. Okay, and then I can open it up. All right, the name of this book like I said, it's Melissa Liebman. I'm going to bring it up because this is Jay's must-have book, for 2022. I'm going to take, let me just first read it. Melissa Liebman, Knitting Modular, Shawls, Wraps, and Stoles, an easy, innovative technique for creating custom designs with 185 stitch patterns. And the modular is, she shows you in this book. I didn't get it at first when I bought it. I thought it was just, I don't know what I thought. Oh, well, I thought it was 185, just like a stitch dictionary, 105 just plain stitches, which it is, but it contains a lot more. And it's this modular knitting. Like I said, I bought this around 2018. I think I ordered it off Amazon because I don't see a Joanne sticker on it. So I think this is one of the first few times that I did order things off Amazon. Now let me read a little bit to you. It says, shape your shawl. Imagine hundreds, perhaps even thousands of lovely shawl designs at your fingertips. Shawls and stoles are the most versatile and eye-catching accessories you can knit. From a light and lacy splash of color to accent an outfit to a full worsted weight cover-up to provide warmth and insulation from the elements. Shawls are your go-to companions. Whether you are knitting for yourself, making a gift for a special and lucky friend, a shawl will become a treasured addition to any wardrobe. Then it says each pattern in this book is based on a wedge shape, a pie shape, which starts at the top with just a few stitches to form a tab. Easy, decorative yarn over increases worked at the side of every wedge on the right side rows create a triangular shape. Bonus, in most patterns, wrong side rows are easy rest rows. Just mindless knit or purl across. This simple rate of increase makes it easy to fill the center of the shawl with beautiful stitch patterns and opens up opportunity to combine the wedges into many different and useful shawl silhouettes. So that's her that's what she's calling it, modular knitting. To take the wedge shape and combine it and then create multiple shape shawls. All right, now here is multiple shawl construction in 7 easy steps. Of course, I'm not going to go through all that, but the outline of it is, it says 7 steps to shawl success. 1, choose a silhouette. 2, choose a stitch pattern. 3, choose a background stitch or texture. 4, choose an edging. 5, choose a cast on tab. 6, choose a border. 7, choose a bind-all. That is a mouthful, but all that was in this book that I didn't understand when I first bought it. But thank goodness I didn't give it away or that I just kept it. So, this is how the book is set up. Now, as I turn the page, just to kind of go over again, she starts out showing you how to, now, I may have to lift this up to see. I'm trying not to get a big glare. Okay, so she starts out with, she'll show you the simple wedge, a silhouette. And then if you can just do one wedge, or you can do 2, you put them together, you have a triangle. You can do 3, okay? Then she shows you how to go on into the trapezoid, where you sew them together and you have 1, 2, 3. Then over here, you can even have more. You can have 4. You can continue on. Well, of course, when I got home and start reading through the book, I'm thinking, oh man, all I wanted to do was make me a shawl. I just saw the word shawl or something else. That's all I wanted to do. But thank goodness, like I said, I kept the book. Now, as I go through the book, I'm not going to do a lot of, because we're going to be learning as we work through this book. This is my go-to book for 2022. And I'll tell you why. Like I said, I'm not affiliated. I'm not sponsored. But if you're going to work with me, or if you like this idea, you need to buy the book. And I'll show you in just a little bit. All right, so now she goes all through setting up different things. And I'm going to just point out maybe some special things as we go along. Like I said, she has it broken down really nice. But it is a lot of information. It is more of an advance. And that's why I decided to just forget all that and to learn to modify. Remember the word I said, remember? I'm going to modify her modular knitting. I'm going to modify the modular knitting so that it will be relevant to my lifestyle, and it will fit my simple, easy knit technique, and it will fit my short and fluffy body, hopefully. But she also has beautiful patterns. You know, here's some of the shawls. See that? Well, just looking at it, look at all that. Isn't that pretty? So even if you don't want to modify yours and you say, oh, Jay, I think I like that modular. I think I'd like to have the book and just knit the project she has. Then voila. The book is good for you, and the book is good for the rest of us. Who? Now, where would I go? I couldn't even wear that. But I can learn from it. Does that make sense? Just because you can't wear something, or, you know, that doesn't mean you can't learn from it. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? I'm just kind of going, because there's so much in here to learn, and we're going to have to learn as we go. All right, right here, she has patterns. Use the 185 stitch patterns in this section to fill the wedges of your shawl, from simple and solid to open and lacy. These designs will help you create a stunning, custom-made masterpiece to be cherished for a lifetime. And, of course, she starts out with some of the side edging. Of course, she does simple garter stitch, then stockinette stitch, and then the forgetting lace patterns. All the stitches with the yarn overs. And there's a lot of yarn overs in this book. It is fascinating. All right, so I'm just turning. And you can see some of the other projects she has. And I'll show you some in the back. But I just want to let you see that she starts out very simple. So I can start out very simple, showing you how to use this book, how to use it in a modified way. And like I said, I've already worked up some samples. Can't show you now. You have to wait. Got to get your book. Let me show you this too. Well, let's get on to some of the harder ones first. Let's just move on. All right, now along the edge of the book, let's see, can I pull this over so you can see? You see where I am. All right, along the edges right here of the book, here's a category. She's separated. Here is the 2-stitch multiples. 2-stitch multiples. Really simple and easy. This is called mix and match wedges. I'm just giving you an idea how it's set up. Then she goes up to the 4-stitch multiples. Really simple. Then 6-stitch multiples. That means it's a this particular section have patterns just for the multiple of 6 stitches. You know, 6, 6, 6, 6, you know, like that. All right, so you can see, first of all, right off the bat, she has beautiful charts, but she also has each row written out. And this is why I need you to buy this book if this is something you're going to want to, if you want to take this journey with me, how to modify, how to take a book like this that's way over my head. Well, I wouldn't say that, but, you know, more than what I want to do, and modify it so that when you see my samples, you're going to go, oh my gosh, Jay, I can do that. That is really pretty. Look, I'm patting my own self on the back. But it took me forever to just let go and just not worry about it. Just do what I do. So I will be working from charts. Every stitch in this book, I plan to try to see how many I can do next year and make a project because they are just that, they're just calling to me. I just want to knit them all. They're simple stitches. Most of them are very simple and easy when you break them down. And they're just public domain stitches you can get in other books. But I'm going to use her charts because she has done the work for us. But for those that do not want to have to work from the chart, I will not be doing a written out row by row or write the information sheet. You will have to have the book in order to do it row by row. What I show you and share, it will strictly be from the chart. Does that make sense? So let's just go through. Like I said, this is the simple section. This is the 6 stitch multiples. So these patterns are set up for 6 stitches. She gives you 1 wedge. And then the whole premise, remember way back in the beginning, is to take this 1 wedge. And she is showing you how. Let's go to this sheet. How to take it and put it together for those who want to do more and add more wedges of that same stitch to make a huge, bigger, fashionable shawl. Alright, but like I said, I'm going to modify it so that it works for me and my body type and just for the kind of things I want to knit. Alright, so as we kind of run through, I'm just going to run through. So let's go through another section. This is the 6 stitch. Now look, then it goes up to 8 stitch. So if you want something with 8 stitch multiple, 8, 3 times 8, 4 times 8, whatever it is. Then she gives that. She's already worked everything out. She has a beautiful chart. She shows you the increase. And she writes the pattern out row by row for those. But I will not be doing that because as we get on into some of the more advanced, it's too much to write out all this information. You need the book. You need the book in your library. You need the book to know how to do this. And once I show you the simple way I'm going to do it, you're going to be so happy. And it's a very inexpensive book on Amazon. And I will put it in the show notes and remind everyone to just go on Amazon and order this book. Alright, so now isn't that pretty? Now that's her pattern. That's her style. She's showing you how to put it together, how to use different stitches and combine them. Does that make sense? This is in the 8 stitch multiple. Beautiful. Now I want to get on into some of the others. Let's go to some of the 8. Then we'll jump all the way up to 10. Let's go to 10 stitch multiples. Still recognizable. You can recognize these stitches. But she has laid it out in such a way it just makes it easy to work the stitch in the shawl, whether you want to do the triangle shawl or some other. And since I have already started, some of you who have been working with me, started you with the garter tab, I will review that to start the first of the year. I'm going to show you the garter tab again and give you some simple increases so that you'll know which one to how to pick and choose the increase for the particular shawl. So this is a 10 stitch multiple right here. Here we go. See the charts. But now look at all the line by line. See, she has it already written up. So I don't, that would be, I don't need to sit there and rewrite all this. You just need to get the book. And then you'll have it. Alright, so then we leave the 10. And then, see, I have things marked already. Then we'll go into the 12. The 12 stitch multiple patterns. And she has patterns of shawls all along the way. That if you, when you have the book, you decide, okay, Jay, I like your idea, but I think I'm going to work this shawl. Then you can go ahead and do it, but I'm not going to work her patterns because I only work, I work with the stitches and do my own little design. Does that make sense? But there's plenty in here. So after 10, let's go up to the next one. Oh, now here is 12 stitch multiples. Look at these beautiful. Now the stitches are getting more complex. We're adding more things. Look at the chart. this is what I will be working my shawls on from the chart. And then if you, like I say, you buy the book, then you can work it line by line. If you're not a person that you just want to deal with the charts. Here we go. Chart after chart. But then, right in the middle, somewhere, she'll give you a pretty design. Showing you how to use. I'm sorry about the glare, people. It's hard for me to tell where I am. But that's really pretty. But that's just more than not quite what I want to do. See, now we're getting really, this is why I'm not going to write up the pattern, you see? I can show you from the chart because the charts are so clear and easy to see. Of course, I will have to enlarge them so that I can see them with my eyes. You know, I can't be ruining my eyes now. I love Melissa, but I can't be ruining my eyes. I got to be able to, I got to see, I got to have my eyes, okay. Look at that, isn't that pretty? I just want you to kind of look through this book so that you can at least see it's worth the few little dollars you're going to pay. It is very inexpensive, people. It may be under $10 because this book has been out since, I think, 2018, whatever. So the book has been out a while, so it's not very expensive on Amazon. Look at that. Now, that looks very complicated. But once I break it down, you'll see that it's not. It's easy to work it from the chart. So that is what this is 16 stitch multiples. So you see it's increasing. 16 stitches now. There's a beautiful shawl. But that's just too much shawl for me. You know, that's just a little too much shawl for me to wear. I can back out just a little bit so it's not so close and give you vertigo. Yeah, that's better. So, we're going to modify. Then she has horizontal insertions. How to insert some of the little accent or little filler stitches horizontal to fill out the shawl. So she has that section. Horizontal insertions. Okay, then there's vertical insertions. That means you can put this in different places and it's going vertical. See, there's a written pattern, there's a chart, there's a swatch. We're also going to be getting into, it's not a B in it, so it's not nub, it's noops. Noop, N-U-P-P. I think it's part of Estonia lace knitting. I don't know too much about it. You know, I've read about it, but I can't remember. But it's N-U-P-P, noops. So that's a nice little, it's kind of like a bobble. Then here's some of those. Vertical insertion, where you can insert things. This will also work. You can make your own scarf and insert these in the center. And just put some stitches on each side. And it's right here. See? You don't have to make what she makes. Stitch books stitch books are for you to, it gives you something to create from. It's to help you to imagine what something can be, what a stitch can be. If you don't want what she's using it for, you can use it in another way. This will make a beautiful scarf with the little noops or bobbles or whatever. You just need some extra stitches on the side. But there they are, vertical insertions. Then, let's see what else we have. Then we have lower borders. Okay, how to add some of the lace at the very bottom. If you want something lacy on the bottom of your shawl. You know, if you get to the bottom and you think, oh, you know, like on the last shawl I just did, I put the little picot bind off. All right, you might want a little more than the picot bind off. Okay, here's some lower borders. It says 4 stitch multiple lower borders. And there's some of the pictures. Of course, you can always add beads. Just not a bead where, I don't really, but, we can, it's easy to do. And there's those. Now we're in the back of the book. And here's some more of her beautiful shawls. I'm going to hold it up so that it's not so much of a glare. Here's the actual picture of some of the shawls the models are wearing. Let's see. And there's more. There's a 10 stitch multiple. So she's worked all of, otherwise I'd have to work, or you would have to work up. If you got to the bottom of the shawl and you wanted a border, you'd have to figure out all of this. But she's already done it and put it in 10 stitch multiples, 8 stitch multiples, 12 stitch multiples, so that you can easily get your shawl up to a certain number of stitches and then just simply add this border. You can add it from the printed row by row or from the chart. Does that make sense? So now you can see, here's a really pretty one. I even marked that one. Thought about, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Let's see if I'm lifting it up. Isn't that pretty? And there's the 2 wedges, or 2 triangles, and the center spine. But like I say, what I'm going to show you, I'm modifying it. But for those who like it as is, this book is here for the taking. The designs are right here. Now here's something that's really great too. These are called perpendicular borders. You remember how I do some of my shawls where I just go, I start on one corner and then I increase up, and then I'll put a pretty design on the edge, and then I'll go up so far, I'll increase up so far and then go across the back with no increases, and then down the other side, decrease down. Well, that's what these are, perpendicular borders, because I have done something already, not out of this particular book, but like I said, these are stitches you'll find in other stitch books in public domain. But here's a pretty leaf stitch, and I've done something with a leaf on the edge. Then here is a pretty little, I don't know, some kind of little picot looking stitch. That's pretty. Then here's, look at this one. She doesn't really name them, but you can see a pretty wedge edge with lace. And there's a steek. Remember how we covered steeks in the other book? You can tell that right there. So these are perpendicular borders. Borders that you can put right on the edge. And these, I love to do, because I love my little shawls that I start small, narrow, and then I widen up. Most of my shawls are that way, and then across the back and then down the other side. So here's the perpendicular. She added those 2. And there's quite a few that I haven't seen. So see, I will be very interested in doing those. Then you have some that you can, like I said, remember the insertion? Now here's a beautiful shawl where there's an insertion. She took a stitch. Let's see if I can bring it without too much of a glare. See right here? She did an insertion, and then she simply filled in with garter stitch on this side. Then she also added a border. So here's the shawl with the model wearing it. Isn't that pretty? Now I know you're thinking right now, oh Jay, gosh. But like I said, I'm going to modify it so that, because I just don't have time to, I just don't have a need for shawls with that much work or detail. But it is in the book for those who do. So it ends with a gallery of shawls in 7 easy steps. She tells you on each shawl all the different wedges or all the different stitches she used, so that you can go and make this shawl or make each one. And of course, she gives a nice, let's see if there's a nice index back here, because we need a list of symbols and abbreviations, things to see what every book, you have to check every book. Most things are universal, but people do change up some of the symbols and things or add their own. So it's always best, whatever book you're looking in, read it. Are the patterns in garter stitch? One lady she said, I just didn't flip the thing, but the book told me at that particular book, not this one, that all the stitches are in garter stitch. So every row is knit. This book, we will be doing stockinette. Most of everything here is stockinette, where you work on the front side, the pattern, but the back side, either you purl back or knit back. Really easy. That's why I like this book so. But I have to read her list of symbols and abbreviations to work her designs or to work out of the book. Does that make sense? To read her charts. So this is, oh, there's one we missed. Look at that one. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? Look at that. That's pretty. It's a pretty lacy shawl. And there's just, all she did was combine different things that I have pointed out in the book. So for 2022, I will be working out of this book. I will be sharing my modified designs and showing you how to modify the stitch and the designs. And hopefully you will like what I present. All right. Before I go, this is for this, but I want to go ahead and remind you of some other books, because, you know, once you order on Amazon, you want to go ahead and say, well, what else can I order? I always have to look around for things to order. All right, so let me stop this part and let me remind you of a couple other books that you can go ahead and order if you didn't order them last year. All right, back in just a moment. All right, so real quick, I just want to give another, just a little recap of the other books that we're still working in. Last year, or first part of the year sometime, I did a book review on Wendy Bernard's Knitting All Around Stitch Dictionaries. Now, I put a number on mine so I can know which book I'm working out of. But here's the reason I'm having you to. We've already worked some out of I don't know, 2 of these books, I think. And but she's just done so much work, and it makes it so much easier to go ahead and start designing projects without having to go back and just to do some of the work ourselves. She's already mapped out the stitches. She does stitch in the rounds, from the bottom up, top down, in the round. She's just worked out all the formulas, and the charts are really nice. The row by row is good. We're going to be learning a lot, doing more cables out of the book. So to get more for your money, instead of having to try to figure out how to change a pattern to top down or in the round, she's already done it for us. So why not take advantage and, spend the time instead of trying to do all the work ourselves? We'll just take the time and enjoy what she's already prepared in these books. Again, I'll go through them one by one real quick, but I've already reviewed it, so I'll just stick it over down in the show notes or something. I'm calling this book number 1. This book it says The Knitting All Around Stitch Dictionary. I can't even talk tonight. By Wendy Bernard. Okay, so here's what the cover looks like. All these are on Amazon, so I thought, well, if you're going to order the other one, I like to go ahead and order whatever as much as I can, so I can, I got Prime, so I can go ahead and get it. So here, I'm calling this book number 1. Has a little dish things on the line. I thought it was like dishcloths, but we're going to use it for other things too. So that's it. The Knitting All Around Stitch Dictionary. Number 1. All right, now here's the second one. This is all in the Stitch Book Review. Like I said, I'll put the link in there, and if you want to feel like you want to go and just have a look before you order, that's fine. This one is up, down, all around. Stitch Dictionary. Up, down, all around. So she's got all three of them in here. How to knit top down, all around, bottom up. I'm calling this book number 2. I just put a 2 on here just so I'll know which one. Now, it was this third one. I believe I put it in the review, but I don't know if anybody, I don't think we've done anything out of this one. So this one is called The Japanese Stitches Unraveled. Japanese Stitches Unraveled. To knit top down, bottom up, back and forth, and in the round. This one's even better than the other two because she has just so much information and she's done so much work. The charts are nice. You know, it's just going to save us time. We can get right to work designing instead of trying to figure out now how can I do this stitch in the round? How can I do it? Do I just have to do it flat? I don't know. I'm not doing well with the camera. I'm talking and trying to move the book. Okay. But you can see there, and there's quite a few stitches there's some stitches I have not seen in some other books, you know, so you're always going to have 1 or 2 that might be new or something, but and we're going to be doing, you know, trying some of her cables. I can't wait to get in that. In fact, that's one of the first things we're going to be working out of. Doing more cross texture stitches, more of the cable. And like I said, I have lots of books with cables in them, but they're just the traditional way, just straight up from the bottom up. So if I wanted to do something when I do the top-down cardigans, which we're going to have some more top-down cardigans, well then I've got to try to figure out how to fix that stitch, and that's going to take time, or just turn me off, and I'll just go into something else. But she's already worked it out, and that's why I want to continue in this series of books by Wendy Bernard. Okay, so this is number 3. It's the one that has the little cables on the front. Japanese Stitches Unravel stitch book to knit top down, bottom up, back and forth, and in the round. All right. So I just wanted to remind you of these books. So when you order the Melissa Leitman book, you can go ahead and just get. You can go ahead and get these if you don't have them, so that once we start, we can keep going. Does that make sense? So that is that. I hope you have enjoyed the information that I'm presenting to you, because I want to start right out, like I said, the first of the year. I'm already working projects out of this one, and the word to remember next year is modify. We're going to modify some stitches and designs to make them, I don't know, a lot quicker, a lot easier, and I think more interesting too. Just going to save us a lot of time, and let's see how much more we can get done. All right, so this is Jay, and this is Jay's must-have stitch books for 2022, and I believe you're going to enjoy this. So let me know when you get yours, and I will be back later with well, we got to think of how we're going to end the year. So take care, enjoy, and to all my friends, everyone, everywhere, every size, I'll say goodbye for right now. Bye-bye.